Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 3 of Coffee with Megha session on mental health, where I answer all of your questions. I hope all of you are having a great week, and all of you are probably preparing for a lot of your Christmas celebrations or New Year celebrations. But over here in the US, it is getting a little bit colder, and we're feeling a little bit more like the Christmassy, kind of the vibe here. So that's why I'm wearing a scarf because it is starting to get cold here. So today I'm going to be answering a lot of your mental health questions that were posted or sent to me via email. So without further ado, let's begin Let's begin with our first question, and let's see what that one is. What are some of the strategies that therapists use to start a couple to talk in therapy? Now, this is a very good question. And a lot of therapists have very different ways of, having couples work in a therapy session. So I would like to tell you about how I work, or I used to work with couples when I used to do couples counseling. First of all, when a couple comes into counseling, it is very important to set the baseline keys in a session. For example, one of the rules that I would tell the couple is you need to give each other space when you're talking, which means there's not going to be an overlap of talking between anyone. So whenever one of the person in the couple was talking, then I would tell the other one to be quiet and listen, because it is their time to speak and talk about whatever it is that they're feeling. One of the other things that I would constantly tell the couple is they have to be in it together, which means they both need to be working on their issues as a team. And I would explain this to them with a very simple example. I would tell them that imagine yourself to be in a storm and you're stuck in sea in a boat. Now, if you have to save yourself, both of you have oars, and that means you have to row yourself out of the storm. Now, if only one of you is going to do it, it's going to be more likely that your boat is going to be swept away with the storm. So in order for you to see benefit from couples counseling, you both will have to row your boat together and weather the storm. That was something that I told my clients from the get-go. One of the other things that I kind of realized when I used to talk to a lot of couples is to have an open communication between them, which means they have to learn to start talking about their feelings with each other. So one of the main reasons that couples would come into therapy was because the communication broke down between them. So it is really important for the couple to start learning new communication patterns which become productive. The third thing that I would tell the couples to do is do all your work in the session. Do not go and do it at home. So whatever you talk about in the session here with me in a private and secure space is what all that is going to be discussed. There should be no discussion of what happened in therapy, or you said this or you said that, after the therapy session finishes. So you have to be careful about not taking the things that you discuss from your session outside of the session. Otherwise, it negates the whole purpose of being in therapy. The other final thing I would tell the couples is, do your homework. You're doing the work that caused you to come into therapy before. So now you are going to move yourself forward by working on new things that are going to establish new bonds between you. So it is important to have this open discussion with the couples. And this is how a therapist is going to start working with a couple in therapy. This is how they are going to make sure that the communication patterns established between the couples that were not working before are now going to get established better. So I hope this answers your question. It is a big process for a therapist to navigate all of the feelings of both of the partners in a situation where the couples are together. So it is important that the couple understands that they have to work on this together. Otherwise, the couples therapy does not work. So the next question I have is, if anger starts coming up more after starting and consistently going to therapy, is this a good sign? Especially since the client is known to repress their emotions. Now, this is a very, very good question. What happens when somebody represses their emotions? It means that they are building up a lot of anger and resentment inside of them. And this anger and resentment is either more towards themselves for having to endure whatever it is that they endured, or it is towards the person that caused them the pain. So you see how the anger and resentment can build up if the person is not able to negotiate those feelings and emotions properly. So when you are feeling anger in a session, it's basically you trying to understand what happened. What was it that caused you to feel anger? What was it that was the triggering event of all of your emotions? Because remember, if you are somebody who represses their emotions, it means you've never talked about it with anybody else. And if you've never talked about this with anybody else, then what do you think is going to build up inside of you? It's going to cause layers and layers of feelings one after the other to get stacked up against each other. And this is what builds anger, because you're not able to talk it out. And therapy is a place which provides you with that safe and secure environment to kind of start processing all of those feelings. And the first one that you're going to see is anger at everything that you faced, anger at everything that you've endured, anger at the person that caused you to feel a certain way. So, this is why it is important to understand that anger is a very, very normal thing to feel in a therapeutic session. And your therapist is trained to help you process it. Now, it's okay also to get angry with your therapist. It's not natural because that is the only person that is sitting in front of you that you can kind of, take that anger out on. And your therapist is fine. So if you are feeling anger in your sessions, then go ahead, take it all out and go down to that core emotion which caused you to feel resentment and anger in the first place. So it is absolutely normal to have more anger consistently come up in sessions till you process everything that you've gone through. So I hope this answers a bit of your question and it gives you an understanding that anger is a very, very complicated emotion. It is basically a mask of everything else that we are carrying inside. So it is fine for you to have these feelings, but it is also important for you to process them day in and day out through the homework exercises that your therapist provides you. All right. So don't be afraid to feel anger in your sessions. It is going to be absolutely fine. Your therapist is trained to deal and navigate you through this process. All right. I'm going to take a quick coffee sip. And so I would love to hear what all of you are doing or how all of you are feeling given the current situation that we're in. I would love to hear everything that is happening with you right now. So one of the next questions that I got was, what are some social skills that I can develop rather quickly? Now, this is a question that I get asked a lot, especially with people who are feeling either anxious in their lives or at that, starting out into their professional realm. And it is very important to know certain social skills. So some of the things that I can think of is having a constant eye contact with someone. Oh no, let me back it off a bit. Let me take it back and rein it in a bit. The first thing that I would suggest to someone who's trying to develop a social skill is get into having a firm handshake. A firm handshake is basically a way for the person in front of you to gauge your confidence. The firmer the handshake, the person in front of you is going to start thinking, hey, you know what? There is something about this person. Now, if you have a weaker handshake, which means it's more like a limper one, it kind of gives the indication that you're feeling not confident in yourself, which in turn indicates to the person standing in front of you that maybe you are not the right fit. So start building or start working on a firmer handshake. Even if you're feeling nervous, make that handshake firm and look directly into the person's eyes, which is the second point I'm making. Have constant eye contact with the person in front of you. That shows again a level of confidence within yourself and that you're actively listening to the person in front of you. So, this is a very important social skill to have, to maintain constant eye contact. Now, don't keep staring at the person because then the person is going to feel, a little bit aware of who they are. Look at the person's eyes when you're talking to them and take a little bit of break. Look here and there. The third social skill that I do recommend a lot of people to kind of build is having an elevator pitch ready for yourself. If you're somebody who's starting out new into your own profession, stand in front of a mirror and give yourself 30 seconds or less to tell who you are. What is it that they need to know about you that is going to let them know that you are a good fit for that job? And practice it as many times as you can in front of the mirror. Because let me tell you one thing, practicing looking at yourself in the mirror is the most difficult thing that you can do, because at that point you're looking at your own expressions and it kind of gives you an indication of what you need to work on when you're talking to somebody and expressing who you are. On the other side, if you are developing a social skill, let's say for somebody who is in a dating realm, then again, the same thing applies. Work on that 15-minute elevator pitch, look them directly in the eye and say, hey, how are you? How are you doing? And let them know who you are. Now, if you are doing this as part of, dating somebody or meeting somebody for the first time or even meeting some friends, you are talking about yourself, but in a different way in terms of your likes and dislikes. Maybe you're talking about something that is, important to you. So make sure that in these situations, which are in the social realm, that you are giving the other person a chance to speak. So don't hog all the attention. Now, the final thing that I always tell somebody who's trying to develop a social skill is smile. Just smile at the person in front of you, because the more you smile, the more you're going to feel like that you're exhuming positive energy, that you're giving a lot of positive energy out to the person in front of you, and that calms the person into being able to talk to you more. So smile so that the person is at ease, and smile for yourself so that you are also at ease. And that is one of the final social skills that I always tell or used to tell my clients to kind of start working on. So let's do a quick recap. Start with a firm handshake, then maintain constant eye contact, practice your elevator pitch, and smile. These are very simple social skills to develop for anyone who is either entering a professional realm or is entering a social realm or is trying to improve how they behave in front of others. So I hope this answers your question. It's coffee with Megha, so we all need to have a sip of coffee, correct? How do I start a counseling session? What should I look for in a therapist? Now, this is a very, very good question. I get this asked a lot of times on many of my social media platforms. So let's start with your second part of the question first, which asks me, what should I look for in a therapist? Now, it all depends on what you are looking for to get in therapy. What is a specific issue that you want to get addressed? Now, many therapists are trained in their own profession. So you might have therapists who are trained in anxiety and depression disorders. You might have therapists who are trained in trauma disorders. You have therapists who are trained in addiction or eating disorders. So when you're looking for a therapist, go into their profile and see what it is that you want from them, and make sure that they have the necessary experience backing it. So, for example, when I was counseling, I was trained in depression and anxiety disorders, and that is something that I would, counsel my clients on. Now, if I wasn't comfortable with, having a client with addiction issues, then I wouldn't take this client on, and I would let them know from the get-go that, you know what, I don't feel that I have the necessary expertise to help you, but I do have a good reference that can. And that is the first sign of a good therapist. If they know that they cannot deal with your issues, they are going to let you know that up front. So when you're looking for a therapist, have a look at their profile from the get-go. See how much experience they have behind them. What are they trained in? And then go and make that first phone call to your therapist. Now, the next part of your question is, how do I start a counseling session? To start a counseling session, make that first phone call. Ask them the relevant questions. Hey, you know what? I am feeling this, this, and this. Have you ever had somebody that had the same situation as me? And what did you do? Now, ask them whatever is important to you during that phone call and kind of gauge. You will probably know in the first, I would say, 10 minutes or so if this is the right therapist for you. So take that time, ask whatever is relevant. If you want to know something as, hey, you know what happens if I have a setback in my session? Are you going to help me come back from my setback? Now, I used to get asked this question a lot because it is very important for some people, because whatever stage they're in, not everybody can keep moving forward. So for some of them, it was key to understand what would my goals be if they had a setback. So that is how you're going to start your first contact with your therapist, is asking them the relevant question. Now, when you go into your first therapy session, then you have a chance to meet your therapist face to face. And again, check for the vibes. Are you feeling the therapist? Is this therapist showing you empathy? Is the therapist asking you all the right questions that are kind of making you think, oh wow, this therapist knows what I'm going through? You need to have that click inside of you to make you feel that this therapist is the right one for you. And if it's not, it's fine. Let the therapist know. Let them know and tell them, hey, you know what? I don't feel that you and me can connect, so I'm going to find somebody else. So this is how you will start a counseling session, by finding that right therapist who you gel with. It makes a big difference. If you don't have a therapist that you're gelling with, the whole process is not going to work. So you need to have that therapist who understands you, and a therapist that is trained in that specific thing that you're looking for. All right. So if you're looking to get into therapy, I hope this helped you answer both of your questions. And I wish you all the best in finding the correct correct therapist, and that you take benefit from the therapeutic process. Now, who am I supposed to be? My therapist says to not buy into my thoughts. My counselor said not to believe my emotions. I can't trust my memories. I am questioning my faith. My values are changing. What am I supposed to be? Who am I supposed to be? Wow, this is like a very, very deep question. So from the get-go, I get an understanding that you've been to a lot of people and you're trying to figure out who you really are. Now, if your therapist has told you not to buy in your thoughts, it would probably indicate that you're maybe having a lot of thoughts and your therapist is trying to rein in the relevant ones. So first of all, your thoughts are the way by which you process everything that you are feeling. So whatever it is that has caused you to feel a certain way is basically the thought that has caused that feeling. So if your therapist is saying not to buy into your thoughts, it would probably mean that the therapist is now trying to figure out which ones are the more rational ones. Now, you said you also went to a counselor and your counselor said not to believe your emotions. Now, this is kind of strange because I don't think any therapist or counselor is ever going to tell you to not to believe your emotions. Your emotions are a key to your mental health. They are a key to understanding who and what you are doing or feeling. So I wouldn't actually believe what your counselor said. I would rather believe or follow what your therapist said. Is that follow in on a specific thought. Follow in on what that thought is telling you to do. And then you say, I can't trust my memories. I am questioning my faith and my values are changing. Now, if you can't trust your memories, then you need to go back to your therapist and ask, which one of my memories what is happening with my memories? What is it that I can't remember properly? Is it something that you've buried deep down? Is it something related to a trauma that you've buried deep down and you don't want to bring it to the forefront of your thoughts? So this is something that a very qualified therapist can actually help you with, is to figure out why you're not able to trust your memories. So find somebody who is trained in trauma, who specializes in PTSD disorders to help you figure out why are you not able to trust your memories. Is there a memory in there which is very saddening to you, or is it something which causes you a lot of stress? So go to a therapist again who is trained in PTSD, and I am sure you're going to see a benefit in it. And then you ask, I'm questioning my faith and my values are changing. Now, if you are somebody who's trying to figure out who you are, it's absolutely fine to have your faith and values questioned all the time. Even me, as an adult, right now, I question all of my values or my faith. I always have these questions asking, why is this happening? Or is this really true? What it is that I want to rein in from my own faith? What is it that I want to believe in my faith? And what are my own moral and ethical values guiding me towards? So your faith does provide you with your current values, but your life experiences provides you with the more other key values that are necessary to survive in this world. So you are an evolving person. We are never the same from the time we are a child to the time we are going to probably leave this planet and die. So every single step, you are going to see that your faith in certain things is going to change and your values are going to change. So it is okay to embrace those. Now, your final question of who am I supposed to be, that lies again within you. It is you who gets to decide who you are and the kind of person you want to become. You get to decide what the purpose is that you have figured in your mind for your own life. So figure this out with a therapist again who is trained in PTSD and trauma, because from the looks of it, it seems like there's something that is holding you back. And I am assuming that a therapist who is trained in trauma is the perfect kind of therapist for you to help you figure out what is it about your thoughts that are kind of causing you to feel certain emotions, and what are those certain memories that have caused you to feel certain things. So whatever it is, trust a therapy process and trust your therapist. So I kind of hope I answered this question of yours, because there were so many different parts to it. To decide, to ask a question of who you are supposed to be, that again answers lies within you. You're the only person that can answer that question. A therapist can guide you in the right direction, but a therapist cannot tell you who you are. So it is going to be a journey for you, and enjoy this journey because you are going to develop or find out new things about your own self. All right. So have faith in the process, have faith in who you are, have faith in your therapist. Okay. All right. Should I hold on to my partner while suffering from depression? Now, this is a very, very good question to ask because depression has so many facets to it. When you are suffering from depression, it's almost like you have hold yourself, into a corner. And I'm going to answer this question using like two different scenarios so that you get an understanding of whatever suits you best. So, if you are saying, should I hold on to my partner? It also depends now on what relationship you have with this partner. Are you comfortable enough to have this person see your ups and downs during depression? Are you comfortable enough to tell this person, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling well. Can you just back off for for a few minutes and give me time? If you are at that point of a relationship and your partner is supporting you, then absolutely hold on to this partner. Because remember, in depression, you need somebody to help you. You need somebody to be this beacon of hope in your life, to guide you in the right direction. If you've seen that this person is supportive of you, then why not hold on to them? Then they're a keeper because they are with you at your lowest point, and then they can be with you when you are at your highest. So hold on to them if you are at that level of comfort in your relationship. Scenario two is when you feel that this relationship is very new and you're not very comfortable with the person in front of you. So then again, ask this person, hey, you know what? I'm going through a lot of things in my life. I want to take a break. Is it possible for us to take a break from the relationship till I figure out what's happening with me and my depression? So again, it depends entirely on the level of relationship you're in. If you are at that level where this partner has supported you through depression, then by all means hold on to him or her because you need this person to help you through the darkest phases of depression. You need this person to provide you with hope. So whatever level of relationship you are at, see it, weigh it, and decide if it is worth holding on to this partner. And if it is, then keep this partner in your life because with depression, you need somebody again to be that hope, to help you out of your dark days. So I hope this answers a bit of your question and kind of tells you that, navigating depression through relationships is also quite tricky and it depends on the support that you get from your partner. What is the one piece of advice that has changed your life? This is a very, very good question. So, when I was a young teenager or when I was younger, I definitely now know that I had social anxiety, that I was constantly worried about what other people are thinking of me. How are my actions and behaviors being seen by other people? So I wasn't very talkative in class and I was more shy in front of other people. I remember times when I would be in social gatherings and I wouldn't want to interact with anyone because of my own social anxiety. So, and I knew I was really good in public speaking, but I didn't have the courage to go and speak in front of others. So I remember one time in high school, I remember this very vividly. My social science teacher in high school, he called me once and he said, you spoke really well because I had a presentation and I had to do it in front of the class to get my grade. And he said, I know a lot of people go through social anxiety. And he talked about his own social anxiety. And he said one thing that has stuck with me since then, which is, you know, you worry about what the world is thinking of you, but the world outside is too busy in their own things. They're too busy in their own minds to realize or focus on what is happening with you. And I don't know how or what, in the way he said, it kind of suddenly clicked. it clicked in my mind that I am worrying about something which is probably not true. Yes, there are going to be people out there who will constantly judge, but not, I don't need to focus on them. I need to focus on what makes me me. It was the way he said it that has propelled me into becoming who I am. I no longer have that social anxiety because I know that I have the necessary skills that are going to help me forward in life. And that was the best advice I got. It took me out of this this feeling of false feeling of being watched all the time, or the false feeling of of people constantly judging me. That's what happens when somebody has social anxiety, is they're constantly scared or aware of their own actions because they're scared of what the world is thinking. But that was the best advice I got, which ended up in me becoming a lecturer. I used to lecture when I was back home in India. And now I'm doing live streams in front of all of you out there, and I'm making YouTube videos. So it was because of his one advice that I feel it shaped who I am and it changed my life. So I'm really, really grateful for that teacher who actually took the time to talk to me and say, don't worry, you are not alone. There are a lot of people out there. Don't worry about the world, worry about your own self. And I hope that, somewhere along this line, you all also have this mentor who kind of shows you the way and helps you change your life in a more positive one. My next question is, how do you explain Down syndrome to a 6-year-old who is bothered by her affected peers' naughtiness? Very good question. Um, for a 6-year-old, it is very difficult to understand what Down syndrome is. So you cannot go and explain to them that it is because of a chromosomal abnormality, correct? You have to then talk to a 6-year-old by letting this child know that everybody is unique in the world, that everybody is born a certain way. You have to explain the characteristics of a child who is suffering from Down syndrome in a positive way. Let this child know that, hey, you know what? You learned something that was, earlier on, but your friend is kind of learning it now. When your friend who is being very happy in class, it is because they are happy with themselves. They're trying to navigate whoever it is they are trying to be. So to a 6-year-old, you have to tell them that the best way to have them accept this person is to be inclusive of who they are. Teach them that everybody is going to be different and that along the way they're going to meet a lot of people who are going to be different. And it's fine that this child is naughty because they're learning a little bit, they're learning things a little bit later. So it's okay to have this conversation with a 6-year-old. Do not go into the science of it and explain what Down syndrome is because your 6-year-old will not understand it. Have them understand it through a valuable lesson that everybody is unique and everybody has their own strengths. So this is how you're going to explain this to a 6-year-old, by telling them that their naughtiness is because they're learning new things that you have already learned, but they are a little bit slow in learning. So it's okay. Tell your 6-year-old that it's okay to be friends with this child who has Down syndrome. It is fine. A person with Down syndrome is capable of making friends. So tell your 6-year-old, hey, it's okay. Go be friends with them. They're fine. Their naughtiness will suddenly go away, and you can be good friends with them. So I kind of hope this answers your question, because telling a 6-year-old something as somebody who has Down syndrome can be a little tricky, but make use of teaching them a good, valuable lesson of being inclusive of everyone around them. All right. What are some good ways to show empathy and compassion without saying things like, I am sorry that happened, or I am sorry that you feel this way? How can I not sound superficial? This is a very, very good question. And a long time ago, I was asked about this, and I kind of wrote a small piece on my own blog about how you can ask somebody something and not come out as being superficial. And there is a very kind of a simple question. And that question is, are you okay? That is such a simple question, but we refrain from asking this of other people because we are afraid of the reaction we might get. We are afraid of the response that we might get. What if something they say that we are not able to comprehend and give back feedback to them on? All of those fears leads to superficial questions like, I am sorry that you feel this way. And I know for a fact that when you tell somebody this, they know that maybe you're not truly feeling sorry because it doesn't sound right. But if you ask a simple question like, are you okay? It allows this person to then decide, I want to share this with you, or I want to tell you this aspect of my life. Sometimes just listening to them is enough. You don't always have to give your opinion because the person in front of you is probably just wanting to vent out instead of having somebody give them back advice. So instead of saying, I'm sorry that happened, just listen. Just ask them, hey, are you feeling fine? Are you okay? How can I help? That is a very good question to ask someone. The moment you ask somebody, how can I help, is the moment you've taken it out from the superficial realm into a realm of being truly there for this person. So ask them, how can I help you? Maybe they'll say, hey, can you just listen to me? Maybe they will say, I maybe need help with just, having me find work, or maybe having childcare, something of that sort. They will let you know how you can help. Or they might just say, you know what, I'm doing fine. I don't think I need help. I just need space. And that is okay as well. If this person in front of you says, I need space, that indicates that they are just looking to be by themselves and sort out their own feelings. That is not the time to go back to them and say, hey, I'm sorry that you're feeling this way, because now it's going to just anger them, because now you've taken it back into a superficial realm. So let it be. If they say, I need space, let them have their space. If they say, I need you to listen to what I'm saying, then just listen. But the simplest question is, are you okay? Ask this person, are you feeling fine? How can I help you? These are questions that are no longer superficial and shows your true intentions. So I hope this answered your question, because these questions themselves are going to show you empathy, and they are going to show you they are going to show this other person compassion, that you are truly there for them and that you truly want to help them. Next question is, how do I better praise people? Sometimes I feel like complimenting their character, appearance, and stuff, but I lack good words or expressions. This is a good question, because in today's world, we kind of feel like we have to always be correct and we have to always be mindful if we are going to praise someone. I remember, a few months ago, this whole picture of the famous singer Adele, came out, where she lost a lot of weight, and people were genuinely scared to praise her because they were afraid that maybe they're commenting on her weight. But there's so many different ways to praise people. Some of the compliments could be, hey, you know what, I like what you're wearing today, it really suits you. Or, hey, you have a beautiful smile. All of those things are simple way of praising people. Just go ahead, say something that brings a smile to somebody else's face. Say something that can help other people feel happy. So some of those other expressions could be, I really like the way you spoke in front of other people today. Now you've praised their work. Now you're going to give them confidence. So find specific traits or things that are, going to make them feel happy. Don't be superficial and say, oh, I like the shoes you're wearing, or I like the clothes you're wearing. That's not full praise. Go for the character. Hey, I liked your smile. I liked what you did today. Thank you for doing this for me. That those are compliments that people are looking for. Or if somebody is wearing something nice, and go ahead and say, hey, you know what, this really suits you. It brings out the color of your eyes, for example. So match that compliment with something in them. That is how you genuinely praise people and make them genuinely happy. So when you're complimenting them, find a thing, find a character, combine it. And that is what was going to truly bring them happiness. I am very depressed and I am seeing a therapist for it. My mother asked me if she can help, but I don't think she can. I told her so, and now I feel like I hurt her feelings. How do I tell her that she cannot help me? Or am I in the wrong here? This is a very, very good question, because when somebody is going through depression, a lot of family members and friends around them feel that they can help this person a certain way. In your case, it is your mom. Excuse me. Now, when you are already seeing a therapist, that means you already have somebody who's looking after the aspect of therapy and your feelings and kind of, taking care of that. Your mom, on the other hand, wants to be your support. She wants to be there with you so that she knows that she's not doing something wrong, so that she can help you in any which way she can. She's not trying to take over the work of the therapist. She's trying to be your support. So have a talk with her. Have a talk with her and let her know, Mom, I'm getting therapy, but this is where you can help me. So list out the things. If, for example, you need space in the evening to just do the homework maybe that your therapist gave, then let her know that, Mom, my therapist has given me homework. I just need to focus on this. Or let her know some of the signs and signals that she can be aware of when you are going, maybe slipping into the depression a little bit more. Because remember, depression means up and down till you find that pattern which is midway, which is like this midway pattern for you to feel happy in. So let her know, what are those signs. Should she be on the lookout for, let's say, if you're sleeping more, is that when you need her to support you and bring you out of it? Is it when you feel you have low energies? Is that where she can really help you and kind of help bring those energies back again? Is it when you feel hopeless, when you feel like nothing is going to work? Is that when you need your mom at home to be that support and bring you back hope? So let your mom know. Though she cannot help you as a therapist, she can help you as your support. So use it. You're not in the wrong here to think that she's not going to help you as a therapist, but let her know. All she does or all she wants is for you to feel better and for you to feel supported. So let her know the things that she can help you with. And remember, it's always good to have a support system in your life. It is always good to have somebody who is looking out for you. Because I know for a fact, because I'm trained in depression disorders, that it's an up and down, it's a roller coaster ride till you reach a balance. So during that roller coaster ride, you do need somebody who is going to help you stay afloat and kind of keep you balanced. So let your mom know that these are the things I need help with. And if you see these things, then please bring them to my attention. All right. And this is like a nice also bonding situation with you and your mom. All right. So let her know. Let her know what she can actually help you with. All right. Well, I think this was my last question for the day. If I know I can see a few people on the live stream right now. If there's any questions or comments that you have that you need help with, then please feel free to comment or leave a comment in the comment section. I know that I'll be doing this every week. So if you want me to answer your questions, then please email them to me at megha@meghamathur.com. It's running in that little ticker also at the bottom. I hope all of you have a great day, and I hope that you found benefit from the session. And again, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer, then email them to me at megha@mathur.com. All right. I wish all of you a great day. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you here next Wednesday. Bye.